My stepdaughter got involved in this a while ago, and I saw a lot of changes in her that were very positive and very good. I figured that it might be the community. She was definitely going down a goddess road, and working her way toward empowering herself, becoming more positive, and getting rid of some of the baggage that had been with her during her life. And so I figured maybe that was it. But ultimately, she attributed it to the water. And there might be something to that. I didn't know. I didn't really care. I was just happy that she was doing so good. Then one day she came to me and said, you know, I don't really understand the scientific basis behind this Kangen water, but a lot of people, in fact, everybody that touches it seems to either like it or get some benefit out of it. The only people that are dissing it are the people that haven't tried it. And so would you explore that science behind the water and see if you can help me understand? Because I really would like to be able to reason with people. I was led into this journey by a gentleman who had his wife had bought a filter, and he was a medical inventor, in fact, and he had put his engineers on it to take the thing apart and figure out why this filter was so good. His wife was raving about it, and he just kind of wanted to maybe show her up a little bit. Well, the engineers took it apart, and all of them loved it, and ended up buying one for themselves. And so he explored it further, and then next thing you know, he's supporting his wife up on stage and talking about the medical benefits of this machine, and the fact that really it's not a water filter, right? The water filter is sort of like the tail that's wagging the dog. It is a medical device that was sold over in Japan for decades to hospitals, probably for 3 or 4 times as much as it's being sold to us for. And it had proven itself under the watchful eye of doctors and nurses all that time, and then it finally got moved out to the general market, and people had a chance to buy this medical device. And of course, nobody really understands it, so they call it a water filter. It's the least of it is the filtering of the water. The ERW water is really the main point of this machine. Electrolyzed reduced water is something that has the scientific community abuzz. Basically, filters the water first and then runs it across these electrolyzed plates of platinum coated titanium that separate the water is H2O, and it separates off one of the hydrogen molecules, so you end up with H1O1. And H1O1, it's alkaline and it absorbs easier into the body, so there's that advantage first off. But the really interesting thing is what this H molecule does when it floats away and it becomes H1O. The hydrogen molecule then tends to fuse with another hydrogen molecule, or the hydrogen molecule then tends to get together with another hydrogen molecule, and you have H2. And that H2 has a lot of very interesting benefits that scientists are exploring and have been exploring for the last few years, mainly in experiments with lab rats, but they're starting to call it hydrogen resuscitation. And it's what it's doing is it's oxidizing some of the negatives, the cancers and the problems that even aging. It's starting to reverse some of those effects because it's getting rid of the decaying effects of oxygen. So you hydrogenate the water, and you find that at least in the labs so far, they're finding that it's doing a lot of really useful things for the body. And the results of the experiments are pretty darn amazing. I put this together, it was just the front of it just said, why drink water? But the back of it is where it really gets interesting. They said it's been demonstrated that ERW scavenges active oxygen species and protects the DNA, RNA, and proteins from oxidative damage. In addition, ERW has been reported to have beneficial effects on hemodialysis, diabetes, against tumor angiogenesis, liver injury and infection, and following alcohol consumption. And that's just one report. The bottom part of this says the primary advantage of using hydrogen rich water as a means of delivering molecular hydrogen are that it is portable, easily administered, and safe. And this is not me, this is scientists talking, and you can go to Google Scholar and put in ERW, and you're going to see this over and over and over again. Well, that's what the machine produces, and that's why it was in the hospital for decades over in Japan, where it's damn difficult to get any medical device approved, and they did, and they used it for decades there before they started offering it to the public in general. I was texting with a gentleman the other day, and he claimed that his father was cured of cancer by this. I've, I've been hearing things like that over and over as I've been reading up on this, and it's really interesting. And if there's a basis to it, it is the hydrogen infusion that's doing it. And we don't really know yet. They're still in the testing stage, but it's really interesting to see this come about and to see these positive reports from people of small miracles in their lives because of drinking this water. Again, I've only had mine for a few weeks, but I'm already sensing and feeling the difference in my sleep, in the clarity of my mind, in my stamina. I went out and played golf the other day in 100-degree heat, which I would never have done before because I've suffered from heat exhaustion too many times, and so I'm very, subject to it. And I did just fine. We played the whole game in 100-degree heat, and I finished, felt good, and was really happy that I've been out there playing. And this water had to be a part of that. Anyway, I hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it's useful in helping you come to decisions. My only other really good thought is go to Google Scholar, look up Electrolyzed Reduced Water. You'll see all of the results of the scientists' research that are going on, because that's a peer-reviewed site, and scientists and doctors go there to show the results of their experiments and to go look for things. They don't go to Google. Right, because Google's anybody selling you anything anytime, and they can 90% of the information on there can be wrong. The peer-reviewed Google Scholar is exactly the opposite of that. It's information that you can count on, and if you want to go through it, and if you can wade through the scientific jargon, it is by far the better way to explore what this machine is all about. So look, if you just think about getting into this, find the person that told you about it and sign up with them, get your machine, give it a try. It's worth it, and then some. And then report back to everybody else, and let's get this thing kicked off into a much wider distribution that allows people in general to begin to understand the value. It'll make it a lot easier for you to make money off of it if that's your intention. And if nothing else, it'll just do people a lot of good. Bringing water into people's lives, it's a win-win. You can't lose by having people drink more water. If that water happens to be better for them at the same time, then more power to you. You've done the world some good. Well, we really need to get the word out in ways that allow people to at least have a sense of this thing. I think 1 in about 1,000 people right now know what Kangen Water is. Let's get that down to 1 in 100, or maybe even less than that. Somewhere in there, you'd think the news will pick this up, and there will be more interesting things going on about it. Over time, the results of hydrogen-infused water experiments are going to move to humans, and at that point, you're going to see those trials start to get headlines as well. The lab rats don't get the headlines. When people are test subjects, you get headlines. And so far, every bit of it has been positive. it